Yeah, hi there. These comments are for AF, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And I think I have enough information to help you. So, first of all, you took the TOEFL test, you scored 69, so you got 18 points reading, 17 points listening, you got 20 points speaking, and 14 points writing. All right, then you took it a second time, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I guess that's good enough there. Let me make the font just a little bit bigger. I want to make sure you can see it. Okay, so you took the test again, and you made some improvements. So you got 16 reading, 22 listening, 22 speaking, and 14 writing. So writing is an area, I think your reading and writing is a stubborn area. You're trying to make some improvements in those areas, so you're having some trouble, right? Okay, so first of all, if your score is 74, I think it's entirely possible for you to reach your goal in 1 to 2 months if you follow my plan. That means that you need to be studying every day, right? So let's talk about reading first of all, and I'm going to give you some basic suggestions of what you can do. So there's five specific things I want you to do in terms of your reading right now, and a lot of them don't have anything to do with TOEFL reading books. Those are very boring, am I right? So let me give you some suggestions here. So first of all, steps 1 through 3, you want to spend about 80% of your reading practice following these 3 steps. The first one is to read extensively for about 45 minutes every day. You want to do that first. This is important. So what do you read? If you're connected to California State University's San Bernardino, I think that you are, I'm going to recommend the Coyote Chronicle. This is the campus newspaper. I recommend that you read this newspaper. If you cannot get access to this, read the San Bernardino Sun newspaper. If you cannot get access to that, read the Los Angeles Times. But you should be reading newspapers, magazines, and books. So very important right here. Spend about 45 minutes every day reading. You need to get used to concentrating in English for longer periods of time. Right? Now, number 2. Study vocabulary. This is not fun, not easy. I do recommend that you go through the vocabulary lessons. Let me give you some things you want to do. In my online TOEFL course, I recommend vocabulary lessons 3 through 6. If you can complete those lessons, you can learn 1,700 college level words, and that is a very good start for you. So start after you join my online TOEFL course. You want to study these vocabulary lessons. Now, there's no easy way to do this. Studying vocabulary is very hard. I recommend that you create your own study guide. And what you can do is you can take the words in lesson 1 or lesson 3. You can write them on the note cards. Remember, on the note cards, you put the word on one side. You can put a sample sentence and a definition on the other side and start studying those words. Now, what does it mean? It means that you need 1,000. You should go to Walmart and get 1,700 note cards, 4 by 6 inch note cards. It'll probably cost you $20. It's a good investment. Now, with vocabulary lesson 4, 5, and 6, I want you to download the audio files to those words and put them on either your phone, your iPad, your iPod, or some other electronic device, and you should be listening to these words on a regular basis. You need to make an effort to improve your vocabulary if you want to improve your reading. Now, the next one. To also improve your reading, you need to increase your reading speed to 300 words per minute or more. You want to do this. This is very important. Now, if you go to the reading part of my course, this is where you can do this. I have 70 speed reading practice tests for you right now, and you can start working on improving your reading speed. How do you do it? You go to my first practice test. It's 100 words a minute. Hopefully you're reading at least at 100 words a minute. So you take 1 minute, you read the passage in the YouTube video, and then you answer the comprehension questions afterward. Now, if you score 60 to 80 on that test, then move on to practice test number 2, which is 105 words a minute. And you keep going through those practice tests until you're at least 300 words per minute or more. Now, if you get to a practice test and your reading speed is a little bit slower than that, then you can do the practice test again. Take it again and again until you score at least 60%. All right, so this is really the first 3 things you want to do, is read extensively, study vocabulary, and increase your reading speed. You're spending 80% of your reading practice focusing in these 3 areas. In step 4, you want to become familiar with the reading question types and the strategies for answering these questions. I'll just say strategies here. So become familiar with the reading question types and the strategies for answering these questions. Now, this part of your reading study isn't that exhaustive. It doesn't take more than a week or two to accomplish this task. Now, the first 3 steps, this takes a lot of time. But to become familiar with the reading question types, you can do that very quickly. And here's how you do it. You go to the reading section of my course. In the reading section, the first few lessons, they will talk about all of the TOEFL IBT reading question types and then how you can answer those types of questions during the TOEFL exam. Now, the final thing, my final suggestion to help you in the reading is you should be, at some point, complete TOEFL level reading practice tests. That's what you want to do. Now, my website, it has a lot of reading practice tests, but they're more designed to measure your reading speed, not designed to measure your TOEFL reading comprehension. So I recommend that you use a book. Some type of TOEFL book is probably okay. You can use that to help measure how much you understand and what percentage of the questions you're answering correctly when you're doing your reading practice. So that would be my suggestion there. Right? So again, steps 1 through 3, 80% of your time. Steps 4 through 5, you want to spend 20% of your reading time doing that. That's what you want to do. You see what I'm saying? So that would be, very simply put, this is my reading plan that I recommend for you. It's not easy. It's very exhaustive. It's going to take every bit of effort that you have, but if you can follow this and especially focus on these first 3 steps, here's my prediction. If you can follow this schedule for the next 2 months and maybe you're spending an hour and a half a day doing reading practice, I'm hoping that you can get 7 points higher on the reading, which means I'm hoping that you can improve this to 22 to 23 points in the reading. That would be my hope. It's possible. I cannot guarantee it. I cannot guarantee anything for anybody. It just depends on how hard you study, how consistent you study, and that would directly determine the results that you get on the TOEFL exam. All right? Okay, now let me talk a little bit more about your study plan. So obviously you want to improve your writing, and let's talk about that for a minute. And I'm going to give you some suggestions on what you can do there, and specifically how you can use my online TOEFL course to get better. Okay, first of all, you might want to do this. I recommend this. You don't have to, but if you subscribe to my course, it's $45 per month, so you'll probably end up spending about $90 if you use my course for 2 months. But there's two things you probably want to do that cost some additional money. It's not too expensive, but it's not cheap either. I can do what's called an error correction of one of your independent and integrated writing tasks, right? An error correction means you complete the essay, you're going to send it to me by email, and I will correct your entire essay. I will tell you everything you need to do to change your writing from the score that you have to getting a perfect score on the writing, which is 30 points out of 30. Right? So if you do a diagnostic, I think, of an independent and integrated writing task, it's $50 for each one, so that's an additional $100 for me to read and error correct those 2 writing practice tests. Once you join my course, I seriously consider that you take advantage of that, and I will send you back a video. And the video will be about 40 minutes, and in the video I will error correct by using screen capture, kind of what I'm doing now. I will correct all of your errors. I will tell you specifically what problems you're having with your writing and lessons that you can study in my online TOEFL course to get better. All right, so let's go to step number 6. Step number 6 is you should complete the listening. Actually, you should complete the grammar lessons. We'll say grammar, listening, and reading lessons, as I've already talked about. I talked about reading already, so I think you want to take a look at that. Now here's the key. With the grammar, you should do the diagnostic pretest that will tell you which lessons in the grammar part of my course you need to focus on the most, so take that diagnostic. Now in the listening and the reading areas, I have practice tests. Now here's what I want you to do. As you do the listening and the reading practice test, your listening is already pretty good, so you may not want to worry too much about the comprehension aspects of it, but I want you to take down notes. There's some things you want to do here. So focus a lot on note-taking. So I'll just say note-taking. You want to make sure you're getting down in note form the main and the most important support points. Then, this is what you may not know. You want to write 3 to 5 250-word summaries weekly. These are written summaries. What you're doing is you're summarizing the listening or the reading passage. You're practicing writing about somebody else's ideas. And that's going to be very good practice, obviously, for your integrated writing. Right? Then, if we go to step 7, as you go through my writing practice test, I'm going to recommend that you complete at least 3 to 5 independent and integrated writing practice tests. I would highly recommend this, and as I said before, it's probably a pretty good idea for you to at least have me error correct one of your independent tasks and one of your integrated writing tasks so you can see right away what your specific problems are. But beyond that, you should be completing practice tests, at least 3 to 5 of these every week. Now, these summaries that you're doing here, you do not need them scored. However, you need to get feedback on these. Once you do an independent and an integrated writing practice test, you want to send me an email, and I will have my teaching assistant read and score it and then send you feedback. So you need to get feedback on the writing to see how you're doing. You see what I'm saying? So my recommendation is that you follow this plan for about 60 days, anywhere from 30 to 60 days. My recommendation is try to spend approximately 2 to 3 hours at my website focusing in these different areas. Now, before you take the TOEFL test, you should complete a full length IBT practice test. These practice tests are 5 hours long. I'm not kidding you. Exactly the same length as the TOEFL exam. Now, why would you do this? There's 3 reasons why you should complete a full-length practice test. So obviously, you need to see if your score is close to 80 or higher than 80, right? First of all, you want to take the 5-hour practice test to see if your score is close to 80. Number 2, you get more familiar with the structure and the format of the TOEFL exam. It's always good to do that. Now, number 3, you develop the stamina needed to concentrate in English for 5 hours. That's not easy. Now remember, if you've already followed these first steps, if you're reading every day for 45 minutes, if you've been studying vocabulary, if you increase your reading speed, if you become familiar with reading question type strategies, if you've already done some TOEFL level reading practice tests, right? You've also completed the grammar, listening, and reading lessons in my course. You're focusing on note-taking and getting down in note form those things. You're writing 3 to 5 summaries, and you're also completing independent and integrated writing practice tests. If you're doing this, right, you should be able to concentrate better when you take this practice test. It will improve your stamina, your strength, and your concentration. Right? So this is really what I recommend that you do over the next 2 months. So your next step is simply to join my online TOEFL course, begin following these steps, and then the way that I work is my course is an independent, standalone IBT TOEFL course. You have complete access to all 700 of my vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking lessons. And then you'll get feedback from me whenever you do pronunciation, speaking, and writing practice. That's when you get your feedback. All right? And that is my plan for you. So thank you for your email and for your questions, AF. I hope that you see that there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You definitely can reach your goal, and it will not take that long because your score is already pretty close to where you want to be. Okay?